I have some fantastic news for all of you today. A heartwarming story so wholesome, this kind of spirit could make the Grinch's heart grow 3 sizes. Today, it was made clear to a lot of people that I was right all along. They're finding out what I've known since the beginning of time, that James Corden is an unentertaining asshole whom is an absolute detriment to everything he's in. His presence makes the media that he infests worse. He is the worst part of the movies he is in. He is this miasma of unentertainment, the antithesis of fun. And today, he has been banned from a New York restaurant because he is a massive dickhead as well. Now, as you know, I've been preaching this like the gospel for years now. He's perhaps my least favorite celebrity, and I hold a personal grudge against him because he once took down a video I made tier listing his most embarrassing moments throughout his career. The video remained on my channel for about 15 minutes before it was manually taken down by his team, and I hold him personally accountable for that sin. Now, I've never met James Corden, and I've only ever heard rumors that he's insufferable to be around and pretty mean in general. I remember there was a comedy team that played a prank on him that made him like late for work, and he came across really bad there. There's also been a lot of stories from people that have either worked for him or met him where they said he was a real asshole. But to me, the biggest crime he'd ever committed in my eyes was just being cringe. I've never disliked him because of the stories I heard about him. That was just the cherry on top of how much I dislike his presence in all of the movies and shows that he somehow infests. He's just been in so much shit and makes it even worse. So let's go over the situation here today. James Corden's just one of those people where whenever I read something like revealing more about him being an asshole, I can't help but like almost celebrate a little bit, like wiggle my finger. You know, maybe I even stand up and hit a little boogie with it. Oh, what's that, the SpongeBob? Huh? Oh, James Corden's being an asshole? Oh, you don't say. Weird. It's almost like I knew it from the get-go. Whoa, now hit him with the jerk. Now, before showing the manager reports here, I need to make it known that this has been a confirmed true story. This isn't just pulled out of someone's ass. James Corden has apologized for his actions here, and the owner of the restaurant has accepted the apology and says that he's rescinding the ban on him and he's welcome to come back. I think he should have stuck to his guns, because now the only reason he's apologizing is because of public pressure, because this became such a huge story, it went viral. It's not that James Corden is actually apologetic. He just knows that it's a PR disaster, so he's trying to save face. So here's the full statement from the owner of the restaurant. Their name is Keith McNall, and they said this about James Corden. James Corden is a hugely gifted comedian. I'm going to stop you right there, Keith. We're not even a full sentence deep, and I've just got to make a quick correction here. He's not gifted, nor would he be considered a comedian by most people. He is like the most plain, boring person you could think of, like a default character in PC. But regardless, he continues, a hugely gifted comedian, but a tiny cretin of a man, and the most abusive customer to my Balthazar servers since the restaurant opened 25 years ago. I don't often 86 a customer, but today I 86'd Corden. It did not make me laugh. That statement does make me laugh, though. That's just so blunt, calling him a cretin and then 86ing him, saying it didn't make him laugh. Here's 2 examples of the funny man's treatment of my staff. Keith is coming in here with the claws. He's fuming, and rightfully so. I've said this a million times, I'll say it a million more, I'll scream it from the mountaintops. Anyone who is rude to anyone in the customer service industry, waitresses, waiters, cashiers, whatever, anyone who is a dick to them, a fucking douchebag to them, is a completely worthless piece of shit. Plain and simple. It takes a special kind of evil to mistreat someone in the service industry like that. I also haven't heard the term 86th since SpongeBob with 86 those patties, crabs. So that was kind of a cool throwback there. So let's look at manager report number 1. In June, James Corden was here on table 61. Although this is diabolical, it happens very occasionally in all restaurants. After eating his main course, Corden showed the hair to Balthazar's manager, G, who was very apologetic. Corden was extremely nasty to G and said, "Get us another round of drinks this second, and also take care of all our drinks so far. This way, I write any nasty reviews in Yelp or anything like that." So this sounds like a pretty big blow up over something pretty minor. Yeah, it's yucky finding a hair in your food. It happens. Most people just suck it up and move on. But I also don't think there's any shame in being like, hey, I found this hair in here, just I was hoping I could maybe place another order or get this replaced. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that. Just being respectful about it because, you know, accidents happen. It's something that just unfortunately happens from time to time. I'm a legitimate hypochondriac, and even I, when I find a hair in my food, pick it out and still finish it. But I do understand why someone wouldn't. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong to be like, hey, can I, you know, maybe just place another order? I think that's fine. There's no reason to call the manager over, yell at them, and then demand another round of drinks and threaten to leave a nasty review, right? Like, I think that's blowing it way out of proportion. Now let's move on to the second manager report. James Corden was at Balthazar with his wife on October 9th for brunch. He asked for a table outside. Brunch maitre d' Allie Walters took the party to table 301. Mr. Corden's wife ordered an egg yolk omelet with Gruyere cheese and salad. A few minutes after they received the food, James called the server MK and told her there was a little bit of egg white mixed with the egg yolk. MK informed the floor manager G. The kitchen remade the dish, but unfortunately sent it with home fries instead of salad. That's when James Corden began yelling like crazy to the server, "You can't do your job, you can't do your job, maybe I should go into the kitchen and cook the omelet myself." MK was very apologetic and brought G over to the table. He returned the dish, and after that, everything was fine. He gave them promo champagne glasses to smooth things out. G said that Corden was pleasant to him but nasty to the server. MK was very shaken, but professional that she is, continued to finish her shift. So this one I think is a little bit more indicative of the real personality of James Corden. If something is slightly not up to his standards, he loses his temper about it. I think that's very par for the course from all the stories I've read about him, from workers as well as people that have met him, as well as that brief segment where you can see him kind of blowing up in the comedy sketch at his expense. He just seems like the kind of person that is very entitled and feels like they're superior to just normal people around him. So in that entitlement, he fucking blows up at them. "Oh, I'll go back there and cook it then. You guys can't do your jobs. Disgusting. I spit on you fucking plebeians. This is disgraceful. You sent me a dish with house fries instead of a salad? Are you trying to kill me? This is poison." And the fact that he shamelessly has done this twice now, and this one apparently in front of his wife, blows my mind. How anyone can do this in front of other people, especially people they care about, is something that will never compute with me. How do you not get embarrassed? No, this isn't like a tough guy thing. This doesn't make you look alpha. This doesn't make you look like a strong man. This makes you look like a little bitch. You look like an absolute douchebag, weak little man. As Keith calls him, a tiny cretin of a man. Why are you getting so upset at the server who did nothing to slight you? They didn't insult you. Everything that happened wasn't on purpose. It wasn't an attack against you. Sending the dish with house fries instead of a salad is an easy solution. Just be like, oh, you know, I actually wanted the salad. And then bang, they'll go get you the salad, I imagine. They're not going to sit there and like challenge you to fisticuffs like, I will not get you the salad, and I'm throwing the gauntlet down. Oh, put him up, Corden. Like, it's just such an easy thing to calmly handle. But I guess not for James Corden here. So these were the two manager reports. Now, of course, this isn't anything like crazy. James Corden didn't flip the table and throw water in the face of the server or anything. But even still, this kind of behavior I never have any tolerance for. There is just never an excuse to be rude, mean, nasty, yell and scream at anyone in the service industry. You know, for honest mistakes, you know, there's no excuse for it. Now, if the servers were coming up to him and slapping him around and telling him, hey, idiot, you're stupid, and I hate your talk show, you know, like, then maybe I'd understand him being like, hey, you know, that kind of hurts. I'm a little upset about that. But they're just doing their job, right? They're just doing their job and getting by. There's just never a reason to be mean to someone in the service industry. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about this a little bit because whenever James Corden fails and makes a fool of himself, I can't help but smile and just take it back from a distance as a spectator sport and be like, yep, that's James Corden for you. You guys are seeing this, right? So you know I was right. Even though I know most people agree that James Corden isn't entertaining. So it's a very cold take, but it's one that I just keep mentioning anytime that it's brought up. So really, that's about it. So yeah. In 2 weeks, there has been 2 major cases where video game taunting has become a massive, massive issue online. Last time it was in an Apex tournament where one player teabagged his teammate and the entire team got banned from all future tournaments that were hosted by that org. And before that, it was a player on Twitter making a giant thread about how teabagging in Valorant is traumatizing and is the same thing as real-world sexual assault. Even just mentioning that Twitter thread is painful, like gargling glass. Comparing video game teabagging to sexual assault just reflexively makes the human body want to vomit. It's so fucking gross. But the point is, over the last couple of weeks, teabagging in video games has become like the ultimate evil to some people, like Voldemort here. If you don't know, and I already know you all do, but I just want to explain it a bit further, teabagging in games is when you go over someone's body and you crouch up and down a few times. That's it. That's all. That's what's starting all of this controversy. And today, we reached the boiling point that's confirmed that we live in Weenie Hut Juniorville. 2 players were banned for talking about that Twitter thread about teabagging and sexual assault. They made posts saying that it's very silly and disrespectful to compare teabagging to sexual assault, which it objectively is. Anyone with half a brain would agree that it is outright disgusting to compare video game crouching to fucking sexual assault in the real world. It is asinine, and it's just downright wrong. And today, 2 pro players were officially banned by Riot Games for their statements on that subject. They made posts saying that it's wrong to compare crouching up and down in a video game to sexual assault, calling it silly, calling it stupid, and they received competitive bans from Riot Games. And not only that, they got doxxed by Riot publicly. Their full names in the headline of their bans. And their names, they didn't have public. They didn't want their full names out there. Instead of just giving their gamer tags or their their handles online, they gave their full fucking names. Just a huge, stinky, embarrassing blunder from Riot here. I think it's been, what, like 2 weeks? I made a video called Horrible Tweet I Can't Stop Thinking About, and it was all about that huge Twitter debate, wrong word for it, that huge Twitter clownery where someone made a giant thread all about how teabagging in video games is sexual assault. I'm sure you all remember that, right? A Twitter user made a giant case for why teabagging in Valorant is the same thing as real-world sexual assault and it's traumatizing, this and that. Very silly stuff, very goofy. That was top-tier Chef Kiss's goofiness. And today, as of 7 hours ago, it turns out the account that posted that initially was affiliated with a professional Valorant team, as I understand it, and 2 people that also clowned at it on Twitter who were professional Valorant pros got banned for it. So I'm doing more than Riot did. They straight up doxed them. So the 2 pros that obviously joked about that horrible take on teabagging being sexual assault, they got competitively banned, and then Riot doxed them. They said, like, in order to protect the identity of the person who started the tweet, we've kept their identity to person A. And then in the next sentence says, but these 2 pros, and gives their full name, both of their names, not like their gamer tags or anything, just their full names, and said, but these 2 are now banned for vulgar language against this user. We will not accept it. One of the people made a post talking about how this dox has actually affected them in the real world. So apparently, like, a classmate of theirs saw this announcement and then asked if that was them that they were talking about. So it's already like their identity being leaked like this has already had negative implications for them in the real world. It's unbelievable. All over teabagging equals sexual assault nonsense. What tournament are they banned from? They are banned from the entire Valorant Pro League. Like, they cannot be affiliated with anything Riot sanctioned. Got banned for talking shit. They weren't even, like, talking shit against the person who made the post. They were just pointing out how outrageous it was to claim that teabagging is the same thing as sexual assault. Like, they weren't even, like, attacking the actual poster. Scribble faster. I'm trying to. By the end of this, I'm going to end up with, like, a repeated stress injury to my wrist from having to censor their names so many times here. Because Riot couldn't be bothered. It looks like a goddamn CIA classified document with a bunch of, like, redacted all over it. Yeah, so this is the start of their statement here. So that, again, that Twitter thread was started by a member of Gallerance, apparently. I'm not super familiar with Gallerance. From a glance, I looked them up. It seems like it's like a Discord community that's all about, like, welcoming all kinds of people in there. I suppose. I don't really know. I don't think the Gallerance had anything to do with this ban. I don't think they mass reported these two players or anything. So I don't know for sure, but I don't think they did. This seems like it was Riot just putting their own dick in their ass. So I think their Gallerance is probably hands clean of this. But yeah, so the two players made posts on Twitter regarding that Twitter thread, and Riot is saying that it was targeted harassment and vulgar language against members of that community, which is a violation of their rules. So they've been banned from Riot-sanctioned events for... Oh, well, one player's been banned from Riot-sanctioned events for 3 months, and then the other one I think is 9. Yeah, 9. This was one of them. I believe Dawn got 3 months, yep. I don't think I need to say much more. I shitposted on Twitter, and apparently it's vulgar language. Thousands of other people, including pro players and streamers, have done it, but nothing for them. Below is all the evidence that Riot sent me. Feel free to look at them and find the vulgar speech that I used. Oh, and then in regards to the doxing, thanks for leaking my full name. People from school are texting me about it. So this is one of them. Pretty standard dunk. Nothing alarming there. Nothing that's gonna have you go like, oh, too far. And then again, this one's just, it's not that deep. I don't know why Kurapika's here, but that's kind of epic. This one's just a meme. Like, it's not even vulgar language, so it doesn't even fit. And this one, I guess, could be construed as like a threat, I suppose. I don't really know. So even if you really want to play hardball, like you can't say naughty things to other members of the Valorant esports community. Like, they really didn't. They didn't even say anything vulgar. It was just like general tweets. Like, hey, this is stupid. This is dumb. I want to quickly just come in here like a jump scare and let you all know that I actually talked to both Dawn and Razora, the two people who were banned here, to get a deeper insight on things. I asked them if they like actually did target or harass the girl who initially posted the thread, like if they went in her Discord and started insulting her or shit-talking her in her Discord or anything like that. And Dawn confirmed everything that they were punished for was the Twitter posts. Dawn had never gone into the Discord or even mentioned the girl or anything like that, never attacked her, harassed her, anything like that. And Razora also said something similar. However, Razora did make like videos about it as well as talking in the Discord about it, getting into like arguments in the Discord. So Razora was a little more direct with the community, whereas Dawn only made Twitter posts. So there, in both cases here, I don't think there's any argument for any like actual harassment or targeted attacks. It seems like both of them were just attacking the point that she was making with teabagging is sexual assault, which is a terrible point to make and deserves to be insulted and criticized, because that kind of thinking is not okay, and it is a complete slap in the face to actual sexual assault victims. So I don't think there's any case to be made that Razora and Dawn were like maliciously attacking or ruthlessly harassing the original poster of that Twitter thread. Why is there like no one talking about this? That's what I was surprised about. I thought this would be big news. Like, there's an actual war on teabagging going on right now in gaming. It's fucking wild. And I'll address this right now, since people keep bringing it up. Yes, I really ate my own words here. I'll come here and publicly eat shit and say I was wrong. There was a case of someone getting teabagged in a real-life sport this week. Paddy the Batty, Pimblet, teabagged his opponent after choking him out in the octagon. So, yes, teabagging does happen in real sports too. And you know what happened to Paddy the Batty? The guy that got teabagged was laughing, Paddy was laughing, the commentators were laughing, and the whole world found it to be entertaining. It's just fucking video games where virtual teabagging is apparently the devil.
You said this week you knew he was going to shoot for a single leg. Looked like you'd done your homework.
See, like that's, again, I like it. It's good. I like where his heart's at, but the technique is not great. That is amateurish technique at absolute best. Rookie shit. Only 2 pumps, and for some reason has his hands straight up. Like, that's just not even proper teabagging technique. But I do love that he pioneered it into the real world of sports. And I fucking love Patty the Batty. I think that guy's amazing. Probably tired. Yeah, I mean, again, heart was in the right place. We just got to work on that technique for the next one. But back on topic. Point is, teabagging is not a big deal, no matter how desperately gaming companies as well as delusional gamers want to pretend it is. It is certainly not grounds for a fucking ban. And these two didn't even teabag or anything. They're just talking about how stupid it is to compare it to sexual assault. Splitgate's crowd cheers when you teabag. Oh my god. To the member of the Gallerants that made that thread, I pray they never find Splitgate because they would absolutely melt down. They would think that is an actual hell on earth situation. There's an entire game mode in Splitgate where you teabag your opponent to confirm. They would never be the same. But I think this next section is really great to highlight where Riot's head's at, because this is where they protect the identity of the initial poster and then immediately dox the other two. This is where they give like the timeline of events. Beginning June 24th, a player identified as Player A to protect their identity engaged community members on Gallerant's Discord server. June 27th, the discussion evolved into an argument spanning multiple Twitter posts. I'll throw the guess out here. I know Riot got investigated for, what was it, gender discrimination stuff at the office. Like, they had a huge workplace culture problem at Riot where, we even talked about it on the podcast, there were stories where, like, one of the higher-ups at Riot used to go cubicle to cubicle and fart in the employees' faces. Like, they treated it like it was a crazy fucking frat house. And I believe it was like $100 million lawsuit or something. I mean, I'm on the internet right now, I can double check. I don't know what the verdict was on it, but it became kind of a big deal. And I think what's happening now... Oh, the verdict's in. They've agreed to pay the $100 million in settlement. Okay. Makes even more sense then. So I think what's happened here is they're trying super, super, super hard to overcorrect for things. So they're going really fucking hard in the paint here. Like any minor issue on Twitter or anywhere, any of their leagues, they're trying to like make a grand statement like, we are not sexist, we are safe. And it's backfiring because it's the exact opposite. That's a good theory. Yeah, I mean it's just a game theory at the end of the day. But I think the timing makes sense since they agreed 2 days ago to pay this out, and neither Dawn nor Razora even knew that this ban was coming. Seems like they may have just like jumped the gun and tried really hard to look good quickly. To be fair, is either get cooked by the person who started the thread for doing nothing, or do something and get cooked by the community. They chose the wrong side. I don't think so. The person who started the thread hasn't said shit since. At the end of the day, it was her opinion, which she's welcome to have. I think it's a terrible take, as did most people. But she publicly posted it on Twitter for everyone to opine on. And I don't think she made a big stink about it. So Riot not doing anything wouldn't have been a problem. Plus, Riot didn't hit everyone that dunked on it. Don mentioned 2 other pro players in the scene that didn't have any repercussions. Just Don and Razora. I actually got to talk to both the players on stream who gave me a deeper perspective on exactly what happened. So, Dawn is the player that received a 3-month ban for this, and she talked about how her posts were what triggered Riot Games into taking action, but after Riot Games looked at the posts, they contacted Dawn saying that there were no problems, she was in the clear, and then today, out of nowhere, they just decided to ban her. She had no warning, had no idea it was coming, and was even told that it wasn't coming, and that she was cleared. It wasn't a big deal. So I don't know what exactly happened there. And then the other player is named Razora, and she received a ban from Riot for 9 months. For similar reasons to Dawn, however, Razora also made YouTube videos, like talking about how dumb it is, the whole statement on teabagging being sexual assault. So Rizora made more content around the statements than Dawn did, and as such received a longer ban. So Rizora went a little harder on the statement than Dawn, and Riot punished her harder. It's such a fucked up scenario that shouldn't have happened under any circumstance. Neither Dawn nor Rizora knew this ban was coming. They received no warning from Riot Games. They found out when the rest of the world found out, and were shocked to see that their full names had now just been put out there by this company. So this whole thing was just a complete fuck up from Riot. There shouldn't have been bans in the first place. The players should be allowed to express their opinions on Twitter, regardless of what it's about. They shouldn't be like hall monitoring their pro scene to make sure that everything is squeaky clean and fine and everyone's playing nice. And for some reason, it was only Dawn and Rizora that got banned for this, even though there were other pro players that were dunking on it as well. So it's very weird that they targeted just 2 people here out of the entire crowd of people that were talking about it. So I don't understand exactly what's going on, but one thing's for sure, Riot definitely missed the mark here. Also, both Dawn and Rizora said that with Riot doxing them like that, they've received many messages from classmates who saw the headlines and are now reaching out about it. And it's just been a real nuisance for them. So Riot's definitely just made a fool out of themselves here. This was entirely avoidable. It should have never even been a discussion on whether or not Dawn and Rizora should be banned. The answer should have been a resounding no. Shouldn't have even been a question. But even after they decided to ban them, I don't know how the decision came about to put their full names out there publicly. That's such a violation of like trust and privacy. That makes no sense to me. It's not like this is like a legal lawsuit or something like that, or like a actual litigation in court. They didn't have to fully name the defendants here. They are victims of Riot Games now. Riot Games just doxed them, which is fucked up. So this was just a really bad look for Riot, like completely. Hopefully they'll go back and overturn this outrageous decision, but I have a feeling they won't. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about this, and that's about it. So yeah. Defining art's been extremely difficult for our species for many years, and I'm not going to sit here and try and define it because I really just don't give a shit about it. But on Vimeo, the line between what's art and what's bullshit is blurred. There's a fine line between creativity, art, and just plain fucking lunacy, and Vimeo tap dances on it and shuns anything that it believes doesn't quite meet that criteria of being art. And I'm banned on that site, and I never really talked about why. I got asked about it on stream last night at twitch.tv/moistcritical, and I figured I'd elaborate. On Vimeo, anything pretty much passes as art. I saw a fucking series of videos on there of an old woman in a morph suit that had the vagina cut out of it, and she had a bodyguard pick her up like he was giving her like a fucking Heimlich maneuver or going for a German suplex, pick her up, and she urinated in a circle as he carried her. He carried her in a circle, and she just urinated in a circle. And it was a pretty impressive stream because it was a circle that took about 30 seconds to complete, so I can applaud her for her stamina with urinating and peeing everywhere. But that's art. That was the whole piece. She pissed in this circle, the bodyguard mopped it up, and then, everyone gave a little golf clap to him, and that was the end of the performance. And it was a 3-part performance. It wasn't always a circle she was peeing in and shit, but it was called like the Fountain of Youth or something, some really pretentious name. And that's on Vimeo, and that's promoted on there. So how the fuck was I banned from Vimeo when their threshold for what's art is this low, where I could go on stage, fart into a jar, huff it, put it on Vimeo, and get fucking 2 million views and the pseudo-intellectuals applauding me for my art piece, my modern art? How the fuck did I get banned? That's what I'm here to talk about. In 2016, I made what I still believe is a very fine piece of art that I called Turbo Hotness. It's a modern take on the human figure. What it is I took a video from Twisty of a porn star fingering herself. The porn star's name was Euphrat, the actress, and she was fingering herself. And I looked at this and I thought, there's something I can do here. There's potential to expand upon this piece. It's a great piece as is, don't get me wrong. Like on its own, it stands still. It's a good piece, but I thought as a art connoisseur that I could bring it to the next level and really just take the whole modern art world by storm. So I took her fingering herself, that video footage, and I synced it to Dragon Force's Through the Fire and Flames. I meticulously synced the performance. So as she was fingering her clitoris, you were hearing the... It was really good. I'm really proud of the work I put into it. And honestly, I have to give credit where credit's due, because at the time when I made that, I was actually inspired myself by an artist on Snapchat, back when I used Snapchat. I haven't touched that shit in years now because they fucking ruined it, but I got sent a Snapchat by someone, and he was watching porn, and Through the Fire and the Flames was in the background, and I was like, wait a minute, this visionary is onto something here. And then I thought, what if I combined both mediums and I took music with fingering? And thus, Turbo Hotness was born. And by all definitions, it was a masterpiece. It truly was. But Vimeo didn't see it that way. Perhaps Turbo Hotness was too much for Vimeo, and they got rid of it and banned me. But I honestly think it's pretty fucked up that you'll allow all these weird pseudo-art piece pretentious bullshit things where you hang like a blank canvas on a wall and call it art, but you won't allow me to sync fingering with Through the Fire and Flames. And I put a lot of work into that. I was like a skilled surgeon behind the editing program there, watching the fingering in slow motion, frame by frame, mapping it to the Through the Fire and the Flames melody. It really was outstanding work. For instance, during the song, I'm sure most of you are familiar with it by now from Guitar Hero and other types of shit, but you know in the beginning where it goes dun 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 and then well, at that dun dun dun, I heard that and I was like, wait a minute, check this out. So I had her regularly fingering herself, and then when the first dun clipped, bang, I flipped it around, so now she's fingering herself on the ceiling. Next dun, bang, flipped it back on the ground, bang, back on the ceiling. It was beautifully synced, a lot of work went into it and a lot of thought. And yeah, on the surface, maybe it seems a bit juvenile to sync something like fingering, something so sacred, to Through the Fire and the Flames. But you have to, Vimeo, you have to dig deeper. You have to look in there with your artistic eyes. Like what I was saying, it's a commentary on the modern human figure and the societal pressure to pleasure yourself as fast as possible, so that way you can go right back into the working world, like what the society's telling you to do, that you have to be constantly working and being productive, that you can't take a moment to satisfy yourself and really take your time with it. Thus, the chaotic nature of Through the Fire and the Flames represents society's pressure to just finish yourself off quickly so you can get right back to work into the real world. And that's what I was really saying with the piece, Vimeo, and I think if you had just taken a bit more time and really analyzed Turbo Hotness, you would have seen that. I think you really would have. You were too quick to ban me for just some nonsense. It's a wrongful ban, and I truly think there needs to be justice for Turbo Hotness, like a fucking hashtag why, Vimeo. It's just baffling to me, and I thought you all deserved an explanation. Not that I'm getting, you know, fucking people emailing me every day wondering where Turbo Hotness is gone. It's not exactly, you know, like the holy grail people are trying to find again, but it is gone. It's not on the internet anymore because I couldn't upload it to Pornhub at the time, which is why I used Vimeo, because Pornhub's uploader was being really shitty, so I went to Vimeo, and it didn't last very long on Vimeo. It was only up there for a week, and then after that, bang, poof, gone. So you can't find Turbo Hotness anywhere, and that's a goddamn shame. I think maybe the higher-ups at Vimeo are keeping it to themselves. Perhaps it was so beautiful they didn't want to share it with the rest of the world, like some pirate's treasure that they're now hoarding. Either way, banning my shit for that, just downright wrong. I have to say, Vimeo, I'm very disappointed. And now you all know why I'm banned on Vimeo. So yeah. Twitch is no stranger to controversy and bad decisions. In fact, when you think of Twitch, you often think of horrible choices they've made. They just go together like spaghetti and meatballs. But yesterday, all hell broke loose. Sin flooded the platform. An event occurred that was so big that it forced Twitch's hand to take action, and it led to yet another embarrassingly goofy display from the platform, and they're beginning to reach levels of silliness we only thought possible in fantasy movies. I'll break it down, though I'm sure you've already heard by now. Yesterday, it was just an innocent Thursday afternoon, you know, we're all doing our best to praise the Lord in our own special way, and then a streamer went live and had sex on Twitch. And that's not super unusual. If you scroll down far enough in the just chatting category, you can always find porn. So that's not exactly triggering the DEF CON alert system or anything, you know, just a pretty fucking ordinary day on Twitch. However, when Twitch banned the user, they only banned them for 7 days.
On TikTok. So I joined in her TikTok live. Then I asked her the $1 million question. I know why, but like, how long are you banned for?
7 days.
What the? 7 days.
Now, why is this situation such a big deal? She broadcast her visit to Dr. Dick and Balls and got banned for it. The problem is how long she was banned for, 7 days. You see, Twitch is very inconsistent with its enforcement of the rules. Sometimes it'll ban a streamer for a month because of one really small issue, or even no issue at all, like a misunderstanding. Sometimes it'll permanently ban streamers over fucking nothing. They don't enforce their rules equally across the platform. Similar to what YouTube was just called out for by Corey Kinshin. Twitch, for a long time, has always been really inconsistent with its enforcement of their rules. And what you just saw there was a YouTuber named Gideon, massive YouTuber, and he used to be a Twitch streamer until he got banned 8 months ago. 8 months ago, Gideon was streaming and told his viewers to go to Pokimane's chat and spam L+ ratio, and he was permanently removed from the platform, calling it a hate brigade. And it's been 8 months now. Gideon's apologized. Him and Pokimane are on good terms, as I understand it, but he is still gone. Yet, this girl orders a hot dog extra wiener on stream and only receives a 7-day suspension. It's just makes no sense how the biggest possible rule could be broken, and yet they only receive a minimal suspension, whereas one singular case of bad behavior from Gideon doing the raid on Pokimane is apparently so heinous that it's worthy of a lifetime ban. It just, the punishments don't fit the crime. Clearly the rules are not being enforced the same way. And in Gideon's video, he brings up a lot of other examples of Twitch either playing favorites or just coming up with the most inexplicably stupid decisions for their bans. And one of them he brings up is one that I've talked about quite a bit. It's the infamous case of a streamer going live and then spreading her butthole and pussy at the camera. She goes live and then just puts her ass right at the camera and just fully goat-sees her chamber of secrets and has the pussy flaps all visible and everything. And just does that for like, what, 15, 20 seconds, something like that, and then goes offline. Claimed it was a mistake thinking she was on a different platform. She only received a 3-day ban. Hopefully you can understand why people are questioning these decisions and scratching their head wondering what the fuck is going on. And you can probably also understand why Gideon, as well as other streamers who have been banned in the past, are rightfully upset. Gideon broke a rule. You would have expected him to get a suspension of maybe like 7 days or something. You know, he harassed another streamer, that's a violation, so he gets a 7-day suspension, and that probably should have been the end of it. But instead he got permanently banned, and they've stood beside it for 8 months. So he's been banned forever because of being mean to another streamer. Meanwhile, this lady just broke the biggest possible rule on the platform and only received 7 days. Like, this doesn't add up. These aren't making sense.
I want to myself and shoot people at Twitch HQ, right? They extend her ban, obviously, to a perma. She wrote an apology letter to Twitch, and this is Twitch's response. After reviewing your case, we confirm that the correct enforcement was issued. However, given the details of your case, including the remorse expressed in your appeal, we have decided to reduce your suspension duration.
This is another strong example Gideon gives of the questionable policy enforcement from Twitch. This comes from a streamer named Narcissa Wright, and if you're familiar with that streamer, you know the whole story surrounding her and her mental health, and it's overall a very sad situation, but I think this case is a very important one to talk about in regards to Twitch and their policy enforcement. This streamer made a public threat to hurt themselves as well as shoot up the Twitch headquarters in response to a temporary ban they had received. After making that public threat, they received a permanent ban. And after making an apology to Twitch, she then got the duration reduced to 22 days. Well, why was her apology accepted and reducing her suspension time, whereas Gideon's apology didn't do shit, they just wiped their ass with it? Like, it's not making sense. Gideon's offense was much less severe than fucking on camera, getting your fucking back blown out, and also making terrorist threats about shooting up the goddamn company. Like, his is so trivial in comparison to all of those things, and yet his is the most severe punishment so far. And he's not alone. There's other streamers that have received permanent bans or extremely lengthy bans over small things. One that I've cited a lot is Forsen's ban a couple years ago, where Forsen accidentally flashed an inappropriate picture on stream and received a full month ban for a very genuine mistake, and only was there for like a single fucking pixel. It was like a second, but still. He received a much harsher sentence than someone actually having sex on stream. It's just ridiculous. There's no consistency to their rule enforcement, and the duration of their bans make absolutely no sense. I also don't understand the argument that a lot of you are going to make about how Twitch makes more money off a girl having sex than just like a normal streamer like Gideon. That's just blatantly wrong. She was not a big streamer. The girl that just recently got fucked on cam was not a big streamer by any means. I think she had like fucking 10 or 15 viewers at the time it happened. I don't even know who reported her, to be honest. I imagined at that point it's just friends and family watching, so I don't even know how the fuck it even became like a big enough deal that Twitch stepped in. A lot of this shit just flies under the radar on the site. But anyway, she wasn't a huge streamer. She wasn't making Twitch tons and tons of money or anything like that. And she's not like a big figure outside of Twitch either. You know, she has like 800 followers on Twitter. I don't know what she's got on TikTok or anything, but she is not like this huge money-making machine for Twitch. So then why are they doing everything to defend her, like stepping in front of the bullets and everything for her? A 7-day ban is nothing. That's not even a slap on the wrist. That's barely even a light tap on the bottom. You know, that's like a very like playful slap on the keister, if anything. Like, that's nothing. It's almost encouraging her to continue to do this because it helps inflate her like OnlyFans numbers or something. Why are they being so lenient on their rules for people that just exploit their platform? But then they'll feel totally fine to fuck people in the face like Gideon, Forsen, and a ton of other big streamers I can name. Those are like the people that are actually making Twitch money. They're big streamers, they have a big following, and yet they're the ones that are scrutinized the heaviest by the platform. Whereas the ones who are just having sex on it aren't even getting punished, really. Like, it doesn't make sense. It has nothing to do with money, clearly. Because if it did, then they'd be doing everything possible to protect the bigger streamers, and they'd be a lot stricter on people like this girl who had sex. But it's the opposite. They're doing everything possible to be lenient with the girl having sex, while hurting the bigger streamers when they do even the slightest infraction. Very, very shitty situation all around. Just a totally fucked situation. I wanted to talk about it a little bit because I don't understand where Twitch is coming from here at all. And yeah, that's about it. So yeah. One of the largest streamers on the planet just caught a permaban from Twitch. Adin Ross. I'm sure this is a name you've heard of by now. He's absolutely blown up over the last couple years. And last night, he got banned again. This is far from his first rodeo. He's actually a veteran in this field. He's gluttonous when it comes to Twitch bans. He's eaten those puppies like muffins out of the oven. This is his 8th ban, and by far his most severe. As of right now, it seems like this is a permanent ban from the platform, and just like the mystery of why I'm so short, the reason for it is unknown as of this moment. However, a lot of people, including myself, have been speculating as to what the cause could have been. Recently, there's been this unholy floodgate, like a dam that's broken in the mind of Adin Ross's brain, that's led to him making the worst decisions imaginable over the last couple months. So you might not be familiar with Adin Ross Twitch streams, but you've probably heard his name because this goofy goober streamed the Super Bowl on Kick. He just streamed the entire Super Bowl watching it without permission from the NFL. It's not like he had some kind of like back alley handshake deal with Fox or the NFL to rebroadcast it. I'm pretty sure Adin Ross can't even spell the word license, so he didn't have the rights to restream that shit, but he just still fucking went hog wild with it. Now, nothing has come from it yet. I don't know if anything will. As I understand it, in cases like this, the lawsuits take a couple months before they start to actually form. So if they do decide to pursue action, it probably wouldn't have happened now anyway. It'd still be a couple months out. That's if they even decide to. Then there's no telling if they will. But clearly it's a huge no-no to freely rebroadcast without the rights the biggest American broadcast. You can't do that. It's illegal. Now, let's say you haven't heard of that fumble that Adin Ross recently did with the Super Bowl thing. Maybe you've heard of him over the last week or so because he also just freely streamed porn on Kick. While streaming, Adin Ross decided to go to Pornhub, I guess to make a point about how you can do anything on the site. And he just he showed porn to his audience, and keep in mind, a lot of his audience is very young. They're minors, they're actual children. Now, he's not going to face like a felony charge from this that I've seen a lot of people say he might, because in the stream title, I believe he had 18 plus there, which I guess is a legal safety net for him to fall back on. But everyone knows Adin Ross viewers are skewed very, very young. So it's still a very fucking creepy and weird thing to do, especially with that audience and on stream. Now, what makes this really interesting is how hypocritical it is, because Adin Ross has recently come out very hard against porn. He's taken up the Master Shield and he's blocking anything sexual. He's made these very huge statements about how porn will ruin your life and addiction to porn is going to send you straight to hell and it's going to make everything in your life miserable. And he's not wrong. Addiction in any form is life-ruining. Porn addiction is a super insidious one that absolutely does ruin lives. But he's taken this stance of porn is the devil. It's the ultimate evil. And then he turns around and watches porn on stream. He just hasn't been making smart choices. It's just been one bad decision after another from him recently. And also, it didn't help that a few clips from his previous streams started going viral on Twitter, and people were calling him racist for those clips. Now, I haven't seen all of them, I've only watched one of them, and to me, it seemed more like a shitty joke that was poorly done, as opposed to evidence of him being a legitimate racist. But I haven't seen all of them, so I don't really know for sure or anything like that. But the only reason I'm even mentioning those clips is because this is another thing people are pointing to as a potential reason for his Twitch ban. But anyway, after his ban on Twitch, he did go live on Kick like an hour or so later in order to talk about the whole situation. And my god, that devolved into complete unhinged lunacy. Holy shit. That went wacko mode off rip. It was brutal. He went from, like, talking about the general situation immediately into trying to bring on actual Nazis. And I don't use that fucking word lightly. I hate that the word Nazi has become so meaningless and watered down. Literally everyone gets called a Nazi now if it's even a slight disagreement on even a trivial opinion. When I say Nazi, I mean an actual neo-Nazi, a self-proclaimed Nazi. Adin Ross wanted to bring on to stream to learn from, I guess, or interview. A super weird idea. He was on some goofy shit. He even asked Trainwrecks if men can get raped, and then made it seem like he doesn't think that's possible, like that whole concept of a man can also be the victim of rape. Like, that was lost on him, like it didn't compute in his mind.
So just keep your eye there. You know what I'm
Train,
saying? Keep your eye on every
I have a
corner.
question. Can guys get raped?
Yes.
Guys can get raped?
Yes.
Can you give me an example?
It works the exact same way. It just, right? Like, we can talk about it later, and you can ask me and we can clarify things. But yes, men can get raped too, yes.
Okay. Thanks, Train.
All right, bro.
Thanks, Train.
It's baffling that that even needed an explanation for him. And the fact that he even got combative about it, like, give me an example, is super concerning. You can hear Train is also surprised and stunned, like, what? Like, you can't be serious. But this is, again, just only another small piece of how off the rails this stream went. So it devolved into absolute wild madness, much to the chagrin of Trainwrecks, Trainwrecks being one of the owners of Kick. Train was literally in a call with him trying to, like, talk him down from these terrible ideas and literally advising him not to do half the shit that he wanted to because of how bad it made the entire site look and what that opened the site up to and the reputational risk associated with all of it. So it was just a complete disaster from top to bottom, but he did say something that shed light on his ban.
Did they tell you why you got banned, or like not them specifically, but like in the email?
Yo, Blood, thanks for the host, bro. Okay, so yes. I got banned for basically... I actually, I don't know if I should say that publicly. My legal team is advising me not to. But
don't say it, yeah.
But Train, what I will say is this though. What I got banned for makes no sense because I haven't. It said all I can say is it occurred on. It says it occurred on stream or on VOD. It wasn't occurred like somewhere else. It basically was occurred on my stream or on my VOD. So it makes no sense. Does that make sense?
A little confusing here, but as I understand it, Twitch is claiming that something Adin Ross did happened on their service, whether on stream or on one of the Twitch VODs, and it seems Adin disagrees with that, thinking that whatever they're talking about happened elsewhere. I believe is the situation. It's a little hard to follow since he and his team aren't revealing what exactly the reason is, but it seems they were given a reason, which is more than a lot of people get. Usually with a Twitch ban, they don't ever tell you what the fuck you got banned for, you just have to guess yourself, which is always such a fucking headache. And I also think this highlights a problem with Twitch and the way they handle bans. I don't understand why they don't just publicize the reason themselves. That would make every situation significantly more transparent for everyone, the streamer, the community, literally everyone. Unless it's like an actual legal matter, I don't see why they don't just reveal the violation that the streamer made. But I'm getting a little sidetracked. Adin Ross did get banned on Twitch. They did give him a reason. They haven't revealed it. Him and his team have not revealed what it is yet. I don't know if they will or if they're planning to anytime soon, but they do have a reason, and it seems Adin thinks it's nonsense, and it seems like whatever they're pointing out as the cause, their arguing happened on their platform, while Adin seems to disagree with that. But yeah, that's where this whole situation's at. This happened while I was streaming last night, so I saw most of it unfold in real time. I'll go ahead and play you some clips where I started making other speculative guesses, some potential game theories on what Twitch may have slapped him for. I don't think any of them are good reasons. If any of these are accurate, I don't think they are, but I'll still show you these anyway, just in case one of these does turn out to be one of the actual reasons. I'll look like a fucking genius for getting it right, I suppose. Though again, I don't necessarily think any of these are good reasons. This must have actually just happened, like, during this stream right now. Because there is nothing on Twitter about it. Here, let's check LSF. Usually they're hot on the case of everything. Nothing on LSF. Oh, no, wait, here. It's in the Rising from 10 minutes ago. Yep, Adin Ross just got banned. Did he do anything recently on Twitch? I know he showed the porn on Kick and all that, but did he do anything on Twitch? Oh, true, he did make that statement about moving the Kick. I don't know if that's a violation of Twitch's terms or something. They didn't ban Ninja when he moved to Mixer. He went live on Twitch saying he's live on Kick. Is he live right now on Kick talking about it? Well, immediately got porn. I just wanted to... Jesus, I just wanted to see if he was live, and it's just immediately porn. But yeah, I don't know if that's true with what Chatter said there. If you go to the streamer bans, it says the ban was 12 minutes ago. Yeah, this is fresh. This is right off the press. This shit still got steam coming out of it. Well, it looks like he's gonna have to really jump in with both feet on Kick now, since he's no longer got Twitch. Hope you already signed that contract, because if not, oh boy. I hope for Adin's sake he already signed that Kick deal, because otherwise Kick is going to negotiate the fuck out of him to bring it way down. They made him a seriously high offer. It wasn't 150 mil, but they gave him a bag. Like, offered him a bag to move to Kick, but that was under the assumption that he'd have Twitch. Like, they had to get him off of Twitch, because he's already got a huge audience on Twitch. But if that's gone, they no longer need that bag because he has really not many other options. YouTube's not going to pay him to go to YouTube, I doubt. So, Kick is going to really negotiate hardball on him, I think. So hopefully he already signed that contract, otherwise he just missed out on a lot. God damn. They must have accidentally CC'd Twitch reps on those contract negotiation emails and they wanted to fuck him up. He can still go to Facebook Gaming. True! There's always Facebook Gaming, I guess. No, I don't think they banned him because of his whole Kick stuff. Because, I mean, Train literally owns Kick, or at least a part of Kick, and he still actively streams on Twitch. He's not banned. So I don't think that was their reasoning for it. Something must have happened, or, you know, maybe they actually did take the off-platform porn broadcast into consideration. I really couldn't tell you. Why was his Kick stream bannable on Twitch? I don't know if it was or not. I'm only speculating on potential reasoning, because I don't think he was live over the last couple days. I'm just taking spitballs, just like everyone else. Is the kill yourself thing bannable? Again, I don't know if Twitch actually enforces the off-platform behavior rules. I think that was just meant as like a scare tactic, like a little boogeyman thing to keep in mind. The whole kill yourself thing was the message he sent to Jake, who reported on him streaming porn on Kick. He sent him a message saying, keep yourself safe, KYS, and then like a little smiley face at the end. I don't think that would have been why Twitch banned him. I have no clue. Yeah, the title's not clickbait. I got banned on TikTok, which is shocking because I've always been considered a family-friendly content creator, so I don't know why I wouldn't be welcomed over there at Weenie Hut Jr. What did I get banned for, you're probably wondering. Well, for random video game highlights from streams, they would get struck down for nudity, sexual conduct, and sometimes terrorism. So I guess me building a maze in Rust is akin to modern terrorism. And to be honest, I can see it. Like, that almost makes sense to me. That thing that I built in Rust, that maze was unholy. It was an abomination, probably a violation of the Geneva Convention. So that getting taken down for terrorism, you know what? That's fine, I'll give you that one. But then the other ones, like nudity and sexual conduct, were going on completely random ones. Like, highlights from playing Call of Duty or something. Like, I know one of them was for Mr. Krabs overdoses and dies on ketamine. It was all over the place for nudity and sexual conduct, which were never there. The most surprising thing about that in particular was learning that TikTok even has a rule against sexual content. That is the most unenforced rule since the no talking in the library rule, or jaywalking. Nobody is following that. That is the most popular content on TikTok. Most of the most popular content on TikTok is sexual content. You have the biggest content on there being people twerking their ass at the camera while modern pop music plays, and they're wearing like a spaghetti noodle in between their stinky cheeks, wet t-shirts. Like, the most popular shit on there is shit for kids to jerk their little meat to. That's where TikTok's making most of their money. So I was just absolutely blown away to learn that they actually have a rule against sexual content there, because they're definitely not following it. The execs up there, they must be too busy getting a little too wild on their skin flutes to bother enforcing that. But anyway, my channel didn't have anything sexual on it at all. Aaron and I made sure of it. It was squeaky clean, played by all the rules. It was like going to church. That shit was abiding by all 10 commandments. There was nothing that went against the grain in there that was like controversial or wouldn't be welcomed on TikTok. It was fucking mostly video game highlights from streams. And it was coming up on 1 million followers and then just gets blasted out of nowhere, banished to the Shadow Realm by TikTok for no fucking reason. So yeah, I'm a little pissed and I just wanted to talk about it. So all of the short content I do from now on will be on the Huge Charles YouTube channel. I'll link that below in the description. I've talked about it before, but that's going to be where all of that lives now since the TikTok is gone and probably not coming back. So yeah, if that's something you're interested in, definitely check it out. Going to be really active over there. I just still can't believe that it actually got banned. I imagine it has to be extremely hard to get banned on TikTok. They had the whole devious lick challenge go on for like a month too, where people were just openly committing crimes on their platform, getting hundreds of millions of views per video, and they didn't do shit about that until they were absolutely forced to act on it. And yet for some reason for my account it's like, well, we gotta take it down now before he becomes too powerful by playing these video games. Which, I mean, Nikita. To be fair, I am perhaps one of the most intimidating gamers to ever step foot in the gaming Thunderdome, but I wouldn't necessarily call myself a gaming terrorist, so I definitely think it's a bunch of fucking baloney that my TikTok account was banned. This is the first time I've been banned from anything in my adult life. Now, of course, when I was a kid, you know, you want to get a little wacky with the boys, and you go on Club Penguin and you say fuck, or you say bitch, and you get banned, but other than that, well, and on RuneScape, I also got banned when I was a kid for scamming some stupid idiots. Like, they fucking fell for it. I don't remember. Oh, I remember the scam where you would swap. What was it? You would swap armor at the last second. You'd go from rune to myth, and back then they couldn't tell the difference if they weren't reading it. So you just quickly make a swap, and you'd be able to scam them pretty easily. So I got banned on there too. So I guess back when I was a kid, I was kind of a bit of a bad boy, now that I think about it. But since then, I've learned my lesson, alright? I'm not as rebellious as I was. I follow the rules. And it's really upsetting that I got banned even when following the rules to a goddamn T. TikTok doesn't follow their own rules, you know? And for some reason, I get slapped for it. I also got banned on Xbox Live once as well when I was a kid, now that I think about it. I don't remember what that was for. It took me like 10 minutes, but I finally remembered. It was back when I was still doing glitch videos on YouTube, and I used them in a Call of Duty 4 game once. And the lobby got real mad at me, and they reported me. I didn't get banned from Xbox Live. I believe I got banned from just Call of Duty 4. So, if I'm remembering correctly, it wasn't like a blanket across Xbox Live. Yes, so, I mean, young Charlie, I mean, that guy, he was like wearing fucking leather jacket and chain, like he was a scary biker. Current Charlie, hey, this guy's like the hall monitor. He's making sure everyone's in line, goddammit. Like, I'm following rules, and I'm still getting punished for it by TikTok. I don't know why. I just wanted to talk about it because it's pretty fucking upsetting. That's about it. See ya. I'm sure you've already heard the tragic news. You might still be in tears about it, and I'm not really here just to reopen the wound and pour salt in it, but I think it's important we talk about what's going on. Last night, Pokimane was banned from Twitch. She was banned for watching Avatar: The Last Airbender on stream, but she took it like a champ. She was making a joke about it, saying the Fire Nation attacked, but they're releasing her in 48 hours, so she got a 48-hour suspension for it. This DMCA was handed down by Viacom, the fucking boogeyman of the internet. You do not want to mess with Viacom. If you even think you accidentally saw a clip of something Viacom owns, make sure that you scrub everything. Call your fucking lawyers immediately, and make sure when you go to bed, you're sleeping on your back. You don't want to sleep on your stomach in that case, because Viacom will come in while you're asleep and fuck you in your ass. Viacom is ruthless with how it enforces its rules and its copyright. Viacom will go through your goddamn 8th grade report card, check your SAT scores, look for any parking violations you might have had, and they will just look for anything to slap you with and ruin your life over. They are truly relentless. You might not remember this, but back in 2007, Viacom sued YouTube for $1 billion. Viacom alleged that YouTube was engaging in brazen copyright violations where they were profiting off of their copyrighted work with all of these creators uploading their material, which is illegal. And they sued YouTube. It took 3 years for the first decision, which was in YouTube's favor, but then Viacom came back. Some of it was overturned, but ultimately in 2014, YouTube did come out on top. But while YouTube may have won, creators still lost, because do you know what came as a result of this? The automated copyright system, which is still being abused and broken to this day. This situation's super similar to what's happening on Twitch right now, with creators brazenly engaging in copyright violations where they're knowingly broadcasting copyrighted work in their entirety, and they know full well and openly admit that it is a DMCA problem and they just want to see how far they can push it. And when people bring up that this could have a bigger impact on the site than just their personal streams, they usually are just met with the streamer saying they don't really care. They'll just take the DMCA ban for 2 days and then be back like it's no big deal, which is a pretty selfish and silly take, because there is clearly a history they can look at to see how it negatively impacted the entire platform. I'll get into that a bit deeper in a moment, but just off the top of my head, if I had to quickly spitball a potential apocalypse, like an upcoming doomsday, if this problem continues, I feel like Twitch might just revert to how it was back in like 2015, where they outright frown upon reaction content on their platform, where they don't really allow YouTube videos to be played and watched on Twitch. Back then, if I remember correctly, even some big streamers did receive like some warnings or even a ban from watching YouTube content. The meta for watching and reacting to content back then was you'd have the big screen, like the main screen, be RuneScape or League, whatever game, and then a small box in the corner for the YouTube video you were reacting to. That's how people skirted that policy, where they just didn't like them doing that back then. So I feel like if this trend continues of just watching full movie series, full TV shows, full seasons of anime, Twitch might just rip the condom off and say it's not worth it anymore. We're not taking this risk. We obviously can't trust our streamers to watch shit on the platform anymore. They're just blatantly disregarding DMCA laws. We're going to pull the plug on YouTube and reaction content, because as more companies get alerted to this, it could be more of a disaster for Twitch. They might just feel that it's better and safer for them to just not allow it. Again, it was frowned upon back in 2015, early Twitch days. YouTube as a streaming service already doesn't allow its streamers to watch YouTube content on there. Ludwig's been banned fucking 3 times in a row for it. So the precedent's already there, where watching YouTube content on other people's streams, is in a super weird gray area. And by these big streamers constantly poking this bear of like, hey, we don't care about DMCA, look what we're doing, it could be a much bigger problem for not just them, but everyone. Because if Twitch does go this route and get rid of reacting to content, that hurts a lot more than just the top 20 biggest streamers. That's a big blow to like everyone who streams on the platform and does more than just gaming from time to time. Again, not saying that's going to happen, but I could definitely see it as a possibility. And she's not the only one that's just been watching full movies and TV shows on stream. It's become kind of the Twitch meta at this point to just watch entire movies and anime. So this whole thing led to a bigger conversation of people asking how stupid are Twitch streamers. Just a lot of people online everywhere just saying how fucking dumb streamers are. This is something I think everyone saw coming. I don't believe there's anyone in the world that's surprised by this DMCA here. I don't think anyone just fucking shot back in their chair, just shocked and spilt apple juice all over themselves going, hey, what do you mean I can't watch my favorite streamer watch the new Spider-Man movie that they downloaded on the Pirate Bay and stream on Twitch? What kind of bullshit is this? What happened to freedom? Obviously, watching full movies, TV shows, and anime is going to get you in trouble on Twitch. You can't do that. Thinking otherwise is like believing in the fucking tooth fairy or flat earth. Like, there is very clearly a line of things you can and can't watch on Twitch. And watching the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy uninterrupted is definitely crossing that line. I'd like to go ahead and quickly jump into the fair use debate and tackle that bad boy, because I see a lot of people defending this by saying this falls into fair use. Fair use is a law that's fucking lost all meaning to people on the internet. It has been bastardized beyond recognition. Fair use means less than the word literally now. People use this for defense of everything, even when it's not applicable, like in this case. You can't take, like, Jake Paul versus Logan Paul boxing match. You can't take that and put it on Twitch, even if you're just commentating over the whole thing. You can't do that. You may have paid for that match, but you can't just freely broadcast it to people who can't, no matter what you do to it to transform it. That is no longer fair use. Fair use is applicable when you're taking pieces of copyrighted content for critique, for review, for satire, for parody. You can take pieces of it and showcase it for your points on the topic and transform it, but you can't just take the entire copyrighted work, like the entire Avatar: The Last Airbender show, and freely broadcast it to people that haven't paid for the service to watch it. That's not how that works. That's not protected by fair use. Like right now, the front page of Twitch is kind of looking like the old artifacts section from a couple years ago when that was basically just this cum dumpster for pirated movies and porn. If you guys remember that, Artifact, God rest its soul, used to be this place on Twitch where you just go and watch like the new Avengers movie or watch porn with the chat. It was wild time. That's kind of evolved now, and now we're reaching like its final evolution where now the biggest streamers on the platform are just watching, you know, pirated content or just full movies and shows that they may have purchased and are now rebroadcasting for people that haven't, which is a problem. So I'm not going to name any names. I'm not here to snitch, even though it's not like some kind of well-kept secret. This isn't something flying under the radar, because a lot of the top 20 biggest streamers on the site are the ones watching this anime and TV shows in their entirety. This isn't exactly something that's going on in dark alleys and talked about in hushed whispers. There's like fucking 40,000 people per stream watching the streamers watching anime. So it's not exactly like you have to go to fucking deep web to find it. It's literally like on the front page sometimes. But even still, I'm not going to name any names here. I'm not here to raise my hand in front of the class and call somebody out for chewing gum or anything. Now, it's no secret that I also watch a lot of YouTube content on my Twitch streams, watch some clips from shows on my streams. In fact, last night I did a YouTube night at twitch.tv/moistcritical, baby. We got real fucking wild last night. You definitely don't want to miss it again. I'll put a link in the description to the streams. When I'm watching YouTube shit on stream, it's usually really obscure shit that has like less than 1,000 views, filmed on a Motorola Razr, or it's content that I'm pausing to talk about in order to make a topic out of or joke with the chat about it. Like, for example, when we watch the scary, haunted, cursed videos, like Nuke's top 5 ghost sightings that'll make your mother spit on you because she's so afraid of these videos, I'll pause it, talk about paranormal garbage, or joke about the video back and forth with the chat, and usually just like to make it a transformative piece where it never really feels like I'm just rebroadcasting someone else's content. I just usually like to stay away from like the big TV shows and shit like that. But now in the past I haven't. You know, like 2 years ago I used to watch a lot of MasterChef, which has become the trend on Twitch right now to watch MasterChef. I was doing that fucking 2 years ago, baby. I was the pioneer, the goddamn founder of MasterChef. I made that goddamn show, damn it. So yeah, like back then I would watch MasterChef and shit, and even recently, like a year ago, I was watching the Yu-Gi-Oh! Singapore dub, which again is definitely in that gray area of, is this DMCA-able? And the answer was probably yes. It was an unofficial upload of the Singapore Yu-Gi-Oh! Dub that I was watching, because I thought the Singapore dub was great, since they only had like 4 voice actors to do the entire show, and they did it in English, where the translation was dreadfully wrong. Like Blue Eyes White Dragon was called like the Blue Lizard Platinum Squirter or something. It was a lot of fun, and I did react to that content on Twitch, but yeah, that was probably a DMCA risk as well. So I've steered clear of that for the last year or so because I want to make more of a conscious effort to not skirt this gray area that would lead to maybe a potentially bad situation for the whole platform. But with this trend right now, the new Twitch meta to be just broadcasting copyrighted material, there's a big problem that can arise from this, and I'd like to get into it now. So, like with the YouTube versus Viacom case, that very well could happen on Twitch with what's going on right now. And who knows if it will or not. Maybe it really will just be people getting DMCA'd for 2 days here and there if they continue to do it, and that's where it ends. They wash their hands of it and it never goes further. Every streamer was losing their minds about the DMCA because of music, where they'd have like copyrighted music that would play in the background and they get a strike or ban for it from years of content. And people made such a big hoopla about it, like, this is unreal, this is so, we hate the DMCA, we don't ever want to mess with them, we're so afraid of them, so everyone deleted all their clips and scrubbed their VODs. And now fast forward to today where they're openly encouraging DMCA to like enforce rules on the Twitch platform against them. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. It's very similar to the Viacom versus YouTube case, But I also think Twitch is in a worse spot than YouTube was, because Twitch can't make the claim YouTube did of they don't know whether or not the content being uploaded is paid for and licensed or if it is illegally uploaded. Twitch knows all of it that's on Twitch right now is illegal broadcasting of copyrighted material. And they can't pretend they don't know what's going on because it's the biggest streamers on the platform that's doing it. And even in some of the streams, Twitch staff will literally subscribe and engage in a conversation about the anime. I've seen that in a couple streams now, which is, it's fun and goofy, but it's also illegal. So Twitch can't make the same claims YouTube did back in 2007. They know all of it is not licensed because the streamers are very forthcoming with their honesty that we know this is DMCA, but we don't care. They're openly saying we're just pushing it to see how far this meta can go. It's obviously a very dangerous game to be playing. While I don't think Twitch will ever see an automated copyright system like YouTube implemented, it will probably see something equally as strict. If I had to guess, if this does continue, I would imagine Twitch at some point will just outright ban the watching and reacting of other people's content on their platform. I think that's the most likely result if this problem continues or even escalates, and as more companies get alerted to it. I feel like that's really the only thing Twitch would do. That'd be their only course of action. Because right now, the way it stands, Twitch just says, we don't take responsibility for what they're broadcasting. If you have a problem with it, you will manually go and take it down. And that's worked so far, but that's because most streamers have understood not to just play movies and TV shows. Up until like 2 weeks ago, that's just been the understanding streamers have had with Twitch. Like, hey, we know that you're giving us a lot of leeway with what we're allowed to watch on Twitch, so we'll return the favor by being smart about what we're actually watching on stream. And then fucking the dam broke, the floodgates have opened, now everything's being streamed on Twitch by big streamers, partnered streamers. And that's a bad look for the platform. So if their hand is forced, I feel like the direction they'd go is they just ban watching YouTube altogether. Like, for instance, during one of those YouTuber boxing events, it got rehosted on Twitch, and that was kind of a nightmare for them. But they managed to get themselves out of that one, again, by saying, like, hey, we can't control everything here. And back then, the channels that were rehosting that material, which was illegal, those were small channels that were literally throwaway bot accounts, not your big partnered streamers. Now, if your big partnered streamers are doing this, now it's a lot more serious that Twitch has to be like, hey, we're gonna probably need to do something or else we might face bigger consequences. Again, might not happen. I'm just saying it could. Either way, it's pretty obvious that this is a pretty bad idea overall, and something that I wanted to talk about because it would affect me. I'm on Twitch every day. I stream every day. I do YouTube nights like once or twice a week, and they're a lot of fun. I like to watch a lot of weird and wacky content, and if something does come from this that impacts that, I'd be upset. So yeah, just wanted to bring all this up. That's about it. So yeah, if you've been on Twitter within the last 12 hours, you've already heard the massive news. LeafyIsHere is banned from YouTube. If Jesus Christ resurrected today, that would only be a side story, second place behind LeafyIsHere's termination. The response to the news has been split. There's a lot of people celebrating it as if their favorite football team just won the Super Bowl, and then there's people absolutely in fucking ruins, burning down their local high schools, refusing to eat, hunger strikes. I'm sure someone's gonna set themselves on fire like that monk a long time ago in protest. Shit has been absolutely wild. So let's peel apart these ass cheeks here and really dive in. So, in a nutshell, he was banned for bullying and targeted harassment. I think that's what they got him with. I think that's what they slapped him around with. I'm not entirely sure, but from everything I've read, that's what the charges against him were in the court of YouTube. So first of all, I don't think any content creators should be celebrating Leafy's channel termination. Even if you absolutely hate Leafy, hate everything about him, have wet dreams where he's being sent away to jail for life in an isolation chamber, you still shouldn't be happy that he got banned this way, because to my understanding, he had 0 strikes on his count before it was completely just fucking eradicated from existence. And if it can happen to a 5 million subscriber channel, it can happen to any channel. Happened overnight. Like the fucking Tooth Fairy came in out of nowhere and just snatched his soul, his YouTube soul away, and had no priors. That should be scary to anyone that makes content on the internet, I would say. But I do disagree that this sets a precedent. I would argue this precedent got set a year ago, with Gokanaru's video on H3H3 getting taken down for the same reason Leafy just lost his channel: targeted harassment, bullying, threats. And then it happened again with Ian's Content Cop on Leafy: targeted harassment, bullying, threats, taken down. Neither of those got reinstated. those stayed down. I would say that's when the precedent was set. YouTube showed that it's kind of Weenie Hut Jr. when it comes to anything it views as a potential targeted harassment campaign or threat against a creator. Now, to be fair, I understand this is a bit of a special case with Leafy in particular because he made 12 fucking videos milking Pokimane. I don't mean like actually like grabbing on her nipples and like milking her, lactating. I mean, he milked this fucking controversy that he started on Pokimane. He had 12 videos insulting Pokimane in the title, laughing at her in the title, using degrading thumbnails to insult her, and I understand the content of all 12 of those videos wasn't solely focused on Pokimane. They were mainly like financial rants and shit like that, but still having 12 videos all insulting Pokimane in the title and thumbnail, that's viewed as harassment by YouTube. And to be fair, that's literally textbook harassment. Of his last 15 videos, 12 of them were on Pokimane. Only 3 videos that I can remember, I can't double check, but I think I remember it was only 3 videos in 2 months weren't talking shit on Pokimane in the title and thumbnail. So I think it's pretty obvious why YouTube viewed that as a harassment campaign. But what's surprising to me, and probably everyone else, is the fact that they didn't issue just one strike for this whole ordeal, the whole Pokimane thing. They issued individual strikes for each offense. And even if they only used half of his Pokimane videos, that's still 6 strikes all at once. If they used a third, that's 4 strikes. If they used a fourth, that's 3 strikes. All of them terminate his account. And that's pretty fucking wild. He went so far above and beyond the norm when it comes to milking internet drama that he made it impossible for himself to survive this new harassment policy they implemented. Now, do I think he's going to get his YouTube account back? I really have no idea. It's impossible to know for sure, but one thing I can say for sure is a lot of these commentary channels and just general audience are pretty fucking stupid. There's a lot of people accusing Pokimane and Ethan of getting Leafy's channel taken down. Ethan because he had a recent animation in one of Leafy's videos where Ethan's wife kills herself by jumping off a cliff or something, which again falls into that category of the threats thing that YouTube doesn't like that they got Gokanaru for. But I can tell you right now, Pokimane and Ethan had absolutely no fucking hand in that whatsoever. Now, I'm not their lawyer or anything, I'm not going to be like their Saul Goodman or anything, but I can say with a high level of certainty that there is not a single YouTube creator, not T-Series, not PewDiePie, that can go to YouTube and tell them how to enforce rules on their platform. They don't take any of that seriously. There is nobody that can go to YouTube and say, I want action taken against this and that, and YouTube would listen. That just doesn't happen. And I can say that with confidence because with our company, Human Media Group, we actually have a direct line to YouTube now. And, you know, like my boy George, I've been curious, I've been inquisitive, I've been asking, like, some actual shit that I've wanted to know for a long time to unravel the mystery of YouTube. And one thing I've learned is they don't give a fuck what a creator says to them. They want to stay as hands off of things on their platform as possible. So, if Ethan or Pokimane really did have a problem with all of Leafy's content, they would have to go through proper legal channels through a lawyer to have any action taken on YouTube's part, where it'd have to be an official document, lawyer, from court, everything that tells them it has to be taken down or the channel has to go online. YouTube would not do that on their own because of a legal nightmare. And I totally believe that because YouTube's a pretty soulless corporation. They're not going to really give a fuck who's coming at them asking them to take down or, you know, be the hall monitor for YouTube drama. They don't give a fuck about that. They want to stay everything as hands-off as possible and as automated as possible. So I'm pretty confident when I say no YouTube content creator has ever had a role to play in a channel being taken down like Leafy's here, unless it was through proper legal means and like a lawsuit, which I don't think happened overnight. You might as well just start accusing the Boogeyman of being the one that took down Leafy or Slenderman or something. It'd make about as much sense as saying Ethan or Pokimane had that power. Now, just to kind of circle back on why I think content creators are dumb to celebrate Leafy's termination, well, it's because, yeah, while Leafy's was a pretty extreme case where there was so many videos targeting one person, the fact that YouTube took action this quickly without warning is a scary thing to see going forward, because maybe the definition of harassment starts to get a little more vague and a little more blurred, and you don't really know what starts to classify as harassment or targeted threats or bullying or whatever, and that's when it becomes very muddy. There needs to be very clear rules and clear action taken with transparency, so that way you can avoid something like Leafy's ban being possibly the gateway to banning a whole lot of other shit that's a lot more innocent and not as on the nose as, you know, fucking more than 10 videos on something, you know what I mean? Now, do I think his channel needed to be taken down? No, I don't think so. I never support censorship in any of its forms. I think you guys know that about me. I think that's just a super fucking slippery slope. Once you start censoring things, it's stupid to think that it's only going to be used against things you don't like. Everything can be subject to the same treatment, even the innocent shit. It's just a very bad thing going forward. So I don't think his channel needed to be taken down. I'm not a big fan of Leafy's content either. I'm not looking for fucking financial advice or to see the same drama stretched out over 2 months. So I'm not a huge fan of his content, but I don't like to see a channel banned like that. Now, I do understand YouTube has a rule on harassment, and you can argue he broke that rule. So that should have been a strike. But I don't think it should have been a strike for each instance of the potential rule break. It should have been one strike for that entire thing, and maybe give him a warning like, look, this is harassment, don't do it again going forward, you know? Hit the brakes a little bit. But that didn't happen. You see, you could extend this harassment here to pretty much every late night TV host. A reoccurring theme in late night hosts is insulting Donald Trump. Couldn't you make that same argument that they target Donald Trump just the same way Leafy did for Pokimane? And they've done a lot more than just 12 segments shitting on him. That could realistically apply to the harassment rule, right? But you wouldn't want to see the late night shit taken down for that reason. You might want to see it taken down because the hosts are really fucking boring these days and the content of the late night shows is terrible, but you wouldn't want to see it taken down because they make a bunch of jokes about somebody. That's just a dangerous thing. That's a very dangerous thing. I just don't understand how content creators of all people can't see why that's dangerous for them as a fucking content creator, because it's so vague. You don't know how it's going to be enforced going forward. You don't know where it's going to lead, and I just think it's very silly to celebrate something like that, even if you fucking hate Leafy. So yeah, really, that's just about it. Just wanted to answer all these questions because I've already been getting a ton of them, and I figured might as well just talk about it as soon as possible before I just get flooded by more questions to talk about it. So that's about it. So yeah. Today I learned that superheroes are real. If only Stan Lee were still alive to see this, he would be absolutely giddy with excitement. Today on Twitch, there was a streamer that proved to the world and defied science by showing everyone that she can queef on command.
Do the queefing thing, it's amazing. You like the queefs? Yeah, I can literally queef on command. You guys want to hear this shit? Y'all want to hear this shit? Hold up. Let me just put the microphone right here. Did you guys hear it going into my vagina? Now let me push the air out.
This was the queef heard around the world. It went viral on Twitter, and for some reason a lot of people emailed me and tagged me saying, Charlie, look at this shit. Can you believe what Twitch is allowing on their platform? This is outrageous. Thinking that I would be upset about this, when really I was just fucking stunned. I was beyond impressed. I didn't know it was possible to queef on command. I thought that was just like a myth, like a unicorn. But she proved that it was real. Or did she? You know, it's possible she actually just shit her pants. You know, there's no way to confirm 100% that it was a queef. It could have just been straight ripped asshole that she was playing off as a queef. I'm not trying to get the tinfoil condom on and go full Alex Jones conspiracy theory on you, but there is the potential that it was faked. But let's just work under the assumption that it was not faked, was authentic, and she's able to queef on command. This caused such a big stir on Twitter for some reason. I saw a bunch of streamers, like partnered streamers, and then like streamer journalists, people that only report on live stream fails clips, also talking about this, saying, this is so fucking disgusting that Twitch would allow this kind of absolutely deplorable content on their site. Did you see her queef? This is fucking crazy. How is she not banned? And then she did get banned. I couldn't believe it. I don't understand why this would be grounds for a ban. It's no different than when XQC juices a fucking fart on stream. Or me, for instance. When I fart, my farts are pretty pathetic. It just sounds like an empty bottle of hair shampoo that you puff the last tired little bit of air out of. But regardless, when I'm about to fart, I usually give fair warning like, brace yourself, chat, here comes a fart, and then I rip some ass. You know, it's no different than just ripping ass on stream. XQC will like fucking aim his butthole at his mic so it's picked up in fucking surround sound high definition quality, and she did the same thing by bringing her mic closer to the vaginal gamma burst that she was about to unleash on stream, right where the labia would start fucking flapping under the pressure of the queef and vibrating. Like, it's no different. The only difference is instead of the air being pushed out of an asshole, it's pushed out of a vagina. That seems to be the only difference here. And that was enough to make people outraged. I'm going to show a couple tweets from some angry streamers that had a real issue with this. I'm not going to show who the accounts are because, like always, I never encourage anyone to go harass someone in their shit. So, let's just read a few of the statements here. Guys, we need to do something, man. Let's use our platforms and make a change. This shit is just purely unacceptable. People grind so hard on Twitch and this just spits in our faces. We must speak out. Yes, gamers, it is time we rise and stop women from queefing! We can't let them use Twitch as a platform for queef. Only we are allowed to queef out of our ass. I tell you right now, if dudes could fart out of their cock, we would be doing that shit all the time. I know on stream, I'd be juicing farts out of my dick. I'd be darting on stream all the time, dick farting. I'd go hard on that, because it'd be great. Like, it's not like her whole content is queefing. This is a single, 40-second clip from one of her streams. I don't think every stream she does is her throwing her legs over her head and queefing on command for the chat. This isn't spitting in your face. She's not stealing your viewers. And even in the next couple tweets, he goes on to brag about how he gets more viewers than her anyway. So, I mean, I really don't even know what point he's trying to make. I don't know what about it is not okay. She was clearly making a joke out of a talent she has for queefing on command. No different than when XQC or myself or pretty much every streamer on the platform makes a joke out of when they rip ass. Like, it's not that deep. It's not that different. Forzen was banned a month for showing horse dick, but I'm glad this is allowed. Now, first of all, let's go ahead and set this up early. Forzen should have never been banned for that. It is still the most unjust ban in the history of Twitch that I have ever seen on that platform. For those that don't know Forzen, big streamer accidentally showed horse penis on stream. By complete accident, someone had sent like a picture that turned out to be a GIF. It changed to a horse dick for a split second and he took it off screen. He was banned for a month. Absolute bullshit dog shit there. But to compare that to clothed queefing is a bit of a stretch. As opposed to a penis from a horse, you get what just sounds like a fart. If your eyes were closed, you would think someone just farted on stream. But the fact that it's a queef is for some reason different. And I don't really get why. I mean, again, I have seen so much farting on Twitch. Are we going to start going after that next? Like, I don't get the big difference. And it's not like she was making it something sexual, like, yeah, for 5 gift subs, I'll fucking queef for you. And then she just breathed in her vagina, and then fucking queefed it out for more gift subs. She was clearly making a joke about it. Someone in chat brought it up, so she did it. The same people making a big hoopla about this, like, we need her banned, Twitch, please ban her, are the same people that turn around and whine immediately when Twitch bans someone they like for something simple and silly. You are literally doing the same shit you hate to see. It's very hypocritical. This is not worthy of a ban, in my opinion. It was under no sexual connotation or anything. It was a joke fart sound. The only difference is where the fart was blasted through. Instead of it being through the colon railgun, she blasted it through the fucking birth canal pussy railgun. But it's the same general effect. Like, there is no big difference. Just because it came out of a vagina doesn't mean all of a sudden now it should be bannable. It's fucking silly. I don't know how long she's banned for, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that whole thing was about how sexy queefs are, which is what brought it up. And maybe that changes the whole thing. I couldn't tell you. The whole VOD is deleted, and I haven't seen, like, a repost or anything. So I don't know what the fuck was going on that led to the queef superpower reveal. It was like Tony Stark revealing to the world he's Iron Man. So from everything I've seen, it doesn't seem like it was done sexually, just more as a joke. I'm unfamiliar with the streamer, but if it's just for a queef, I think that's a really fucking dumb ban, and I don't know why people are so outraged for the queef itself instead of the ban. I think you should be more worried if Twitch sets a precedent where farting as a joke is bannable. I think that'd be a lot scarier than just having a girl who can queef sometimes on stream. At least that's just my opinion. Again, could be wrong. Maybe the whole thing was a very sexual stream and she was actually banned for something where she was flashing the stream at some point. Couldn't tell you. The whole VOD's deleted. This is the only thing that's left, and she said it's for the queefing, so that's all I have to go on. That's about it. So yeah. This is what it looks like when a man is operating using 100% of his brain power at all times. It's like I'm perpetually taking that pill from Limitless. I just came back from pickup basketball, and hooey, what a performance I put on out there. That's one for the textbooks. It's really a shame that I was cursed to be 5'6", because if you take my raw athletic abilities and my pure prowess at basketball, and you just scale me up, like if you slide the slider on my character creator sheet just a few inches to the right, I'm a real threat in the NBA. But regardless, I'm getting carried away. That's why I look all disheveled and shit, because I was out there going hard. I was grinding, and if you want to know what a real man smells like, take the side of your hand and rub it in between your ass cheeks like you're swiping a credit card and take a sniff, because that's what it smells like right now for me. But I'm not here to talk about basketball, though I am here to talk about something just as stinky, if not stinkier, than myself right now. The banning of books. We're going backwards. The human race is devolving. It's pretty clear we've learned nothing from history, since it continues to repeat itself, and right now, there's been a lot of books that have been banned, but one that I want to focus on today is a really, really wacky target for this. Assassination Classroom. It's a manga, and you've probably seen the anime because a few years back it was a very popular anime. And yesterday it was announced that it's been banned in at least one middle school, removed from their library, and faces potential bans in other schools throughout the district. To quote Jennifer here, the local chair of Moms for Liberty, she states, "We don't want students to think it's okay to kill their teachers." Hey pal, you just blow in from Stupid Town? This is their real reason. They think that this manga is somehow going to encourage students to kill their teachers or become school shooters or some shit. If you don't know what the plot of Assassination Classroom is, I'll break it down real quick. Basically, there's an alien, he's already fucked up the moon, and he's threatening to destroy the Earth. But he won't do it on one condition: he be allowed to teach a class. He wants to be a teacher. And all of the students in that classroom are assassins that are determined to kill the alien before the end of the school year, before he has a chance to, wreak havoc on the Earth. And it turns out the alien's an amazing teacher, and the students all take their attempts to kill him. That's fundamentally the story in a nutshell, just like really simplified. I can also 100% guarantee you, I fucking promise that the people that have banned this book and are lobbying to continue to ban this book have never read it. They probably never even opened it. They read a single paragraph plot synopsis, most likely on a fucking Reddit comment somewhere. They probably have no fucking clue what the story is even about or what goes on in it. They just immediately went into this frenzied panic and decided to just slap the ban hammer on it. And the worst part is, I'm not even surprised. Like, the caveman brain activating here and using absolutely no rational thought process to just ban this book doesn't shock me in even the slightest. And I understand school shootings have become more common than free food samples at a mall food court, but I'm gonna tell you right now, you didn't just stop school shootings by banning Assassination Classroom. I don't think there's a single human being on this planet that opened that manga and was like, I might need to kill my teacher. What if they're a fucking alien? Oh my god! Like, that's never happened in human history, and it never would. If you genuinely think your children are at risk to becoming school shooters after reading a fucking manga, there is a lot more problems at play there. You're gonna need to really step up your parental duties and really get involved in their life to ensure that they're staying on the straight and narrow. If you are actually concerned that they are going to read this and just bring in a fucking Glock to school to blast the teacher. It's a crazy thought process. Growing up, I always heard the expression, history repeats itself, or we have to study history or else we're doomed to repeat it, and I just never subscribed to that belief. I thought it was all just a bunch of baloney, a whole load of hooey. But now, I see how true that is. They legitimately are going backwards into, like, the panic in the 60s and 70s or whatever, 50s, whatever, with rock and roll, where they're like, fuck, it's the demon music! This is gonna cause everyone to go fucking loopy and start causing violence. Or with video games are causing violence, they're responsible for so much violent crime. Like, it's mind-blowing. And now we're banning manga. A manga that is about a fucking alien. We are reaching like a comical status with the shitty decisions being made with decisions like this. Now, Florida and that other school district aren't the only two places that are looking to ban this manga. Apparently, other states like Virginia and North Carolina are also up in arms about Assassination Classroom, and various other counties have reported complaints against it. So honestly, at this point, this almost feels like a marketing campaign for Assassination Classroom. It hasn't had this much buzz in years. It's gonna pop off in popularity, I imagine, as a result of all of this. But yeah, it's tragically silly. This is so fucking stupid. Using this manga as some kind of like scapegoat for school shootings, like, oh, finally, we figured it out. This is what went wrong. We've had Assassination Classroom manga in our libraries. That's what's contaminating the kids' brains and turning them into school shooters. It's this manga. We've done it. Eureka. School shootings are solved. Ban this manga and we're good. It's so fucking goofy. This is gonna do nothing to help anything, and I really hope they continue down this line of logic, so like the next thing they start going after is like Romeo and Juliet, because it might encourage their kids to commit suicide, so they need to start banning every single thing of Romeo and Juliet. Like, there's just so many ways that you could explore this absolute insanity. You can extend this to everything. Like, oh, we have to ban every book because something bad happens into it that might make the kids want to do something bad. Fuck. No more books. Words are the devil. It's getting stupid. It's getting real stupid. And since we're on the topic of books, there's another thing I want to complain about real quick. A little bah humbug in here for something that's a little different but still related. I am getting sick and tired of books being rewritten to fit modern sensitivities. I don't know how many of you are aware of this, but right now there's this movement going around to rewrite classic books in order to fit modern sensitivities. So, for example, Roald Dahl is an author I'm sure many of you are familiar with. If you don't know his name, you definitely know his work, like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It's been getting some revisions. They've taken out a lot of content from some of them, changed some words around, like really trivial stuff, but then sometimes outright removed not insignificant moments, like completely like changed it. All because they believe that it is no longer fitting for the current climate, our modern society. So they've taken it upon themselves to just rewrite it. What fucking heroes? Just rewriting books, huh? Amazing. Surely there's nothing wrong with that. Just completely changing the author's words around. Why fucking not, I guess, huh? I think it's ridiculous. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. I'm not a big book reader anymore. I've made that very clear. I don't really read a whole lot of novels or anything like that, but that doesn't mean I never did. I used to read a shitload. Up until, like, late middle school. Well, yeah, like, late middle school-ish. I used to read a lot. And, of course, I hate the idea of just changing shit because it no longer fits in modern sensitivities. Like SpongeBob. SpongeBob, for example, had 2 of its episodes just completely scrapped when it made it to Paramount Plus. One of them being the iconic Panty Raid episode, all because they no longer believed it was appropriate. So they gave it the old 1-2 buckle my shoe to the shadow realm with you. They fucking axed it from the service, and you can no longer watch it on, like, Paramount. It's gone. Because they thought it was inappropriate now. I think the obvious solution, instead of just banning episodes if you think that it is offensive by today's standards, is to do what has been done in the past for like old cartoons if there was like racist shit in it. In the beginning you just make it clear like, hey, this happened a long time ago. By those standards it was okay, but by today's standards it's really not. We don't support, you know, the beliefs of it. However, we want to keep the art intact and deliver it to you as it was aired and as it was written. That is the way you handle it the correct way. Instead of just getting rid of it or rewriting it, I think that's just fucking stupid to just, you know, pretend it doesn't exist or censor words because it's no longer fitting in today's society. It's stupid. Just make a disclaimer at the beginning like, hey, this book was like written 100 fucking years ago. There are some words in here that are no longer okay words. We recognize that, but we're not going to get rid of them. This is how it was written, thus this is how we're going to deliver it. Instead of just fucking revising it. I think that is an absolutely awful thing that is now becoming extremely commonplace. And I wanted to just rant about that a little bit and just, I don't know, it's just been grinding my gears because every couple of weeks now there's a new author that's the target of this like revision and revising, rewriting of their work because it's no longer modern sensitivity conscious. So just wanted to talk about that. This whole subject is just so fucking ridiculous. We are actually not learning from anything throughout history. It's pretty baffling stuff. That's really about it. So yeah. There's no shortage of degenerates that stream on Kick. It's like if Arkham Asylum had their own streaming platform. It's this 24/7 Big Brother broadcast of just unhinged lunacy at this point. And somehow that always ruffles people's feathers. Like, no, it's not everyone. You can't say that about Kick. And of course, it's not everyone on Kick is a weirdo, obviously. But you've got to hop off the idiot potion here, snap back to reality, get out of the delusion if you think that Kick's public perception is anything other than entirely negative. There is so much crime that just gets broadcast on there. It's incredible how the FBI hasn't used it as a resource to bust some complete awful people. Like just recently, something about chickens made that video exposing the Kick predator, and it's not like that's an isolated incident. There's quite a bit of that going on Kick, because the platform is attracting some putrid worms to it like this festering dumpster that's surrounded by mosquitoes. I'll always take every opportunity I can to mention this absolute ghoul. His name is Suspendus. Now, I know his hairstyle may be confusing you because it looks like a 2006 emo boy haircut, but make no mistake, this is a grown 40-year-old man who has become notorious for having sex with prostitutes on stream and at one point even had sex with someone while there was a child in the room. That's a felony. He streamed himself fucking someone with a kid present. That should be a go straight to jail moment. He should be thrown in the fucking slammer. But not only is he not in jail, he's not even banned on Kick. He is still a Kick partner and one of their bigger streamers, mind you. Now, him and his unpaid pathetic janitors have done all they can to keep that clip off the internet. They've scrubbed it from most of the original uploads, but I'm sure you can probably still find it somewhere archived. But it's not like an allegation. He streamed it himself. And if you were on the internet during the Kick rise, you probably saw that floating around because this is one of their first big streamers that was native to their platform before making all of their massive multi-million-dollar signings. This is one of their, like, founding fathers, basically. So you can't make a good argument that Kick isn't a platform that attracts tons of degenerates. And Kick doesn't give a shit. They just seem to sit back and be like, fuck it, that's alright, who cares? Like, I understand they want to be more hands-off and allow more freedom on Kick, but not to be the Poindexter putting my glasses up and telling on the teacher here, but perhaps it would be sensible to start drawing the line in the sand at broadcasting crimes on your platform. Like, maybe that's when you should step in and put the kibosh on it and actually start issuing bans. And that brings me to what I want to discuss and why I'm even talking about this in the first place. When Kick does ban someone, it's extraordinarily rare, and when it happens, it shocks the internet, you know, more so than if aliens had invaded the planet. And every single time, people are under this impression that it's some kind of permaban, like, look, Kick finally did something about this dumb asshole. And every single time, I have to explain that it's just going to be a temporary ban, like 24 hours, 72 hours, something like that. Like, Kick does not permanently ban anyone. There's only like 2 streamers I can think of that were permanently banned, and one of them was the Kick Predator, but that was only after he himself took himself off of social media. He vanished. That man ordered a Hoover Max from the Breaking Bad universe and has never been seen again. So Kick got an easy PR win there by just saying, like, no, he's gone for good. He's not welcome back type of thing. And then the other one was someone who exposed, like, how view botting is so easy on Kick. I think they're still permanently banned. Outside of that, I don't know anyone else. Everyone else, like Jack Doherty and whoever else is broadcasting, like, miscellaneous fights or having, like, titties and pussy and ass thrown in the face of Kick streams, they usually only get banned for a day. Maybe 3 days tops. And somehow, every single time they get banned, like Jack Doherty, everyone just assumes it's like a permaban. Like, look, Jack Doherty's gone. The end of Jack Doherty. Jack Doherty's been destroyed. The evil has been vanquished. You know, all that kind of shit. When that is never the case and likely never will be with this platform. They only believe in these, like, really temporary suspensions where no one really learns a lesson. They just get, like, a tiny vacation for, like, a day or two. That's it. And it most recently happened with Neon. Neon was one of Kick's biggest streamers for like a month thanks to viewbotting out the wazoo. And 3 days ago he got banned for shit-talking a child on a video call where he like threatened to dox and rape them. He went a little wacky with the Xbox Live bravado here and flew too close to the sun and caught a ban for it. Now, he's always been obnoxious. And now that he's not as popular as he once was, he is desperate to once again suckle from that bosom of success, so he's been doubling down on this shtick and being even more obnoxious than ever. So I'm going to go ahead and play the clip that got him banned. I'm going to censor the child for obvious reasons, though.
The fuck? I tried to be nice to you, bro.
The fuck up. I'll beat the shit out of you and your fat girlfriend, bro.
What the fuck?
That fat slut. I'll smack her in her face too, bitch.
And on God, I'm about to dox your entire family. What's your name?
You're not doing shit. Shut the fuck up. Suck my dick, bro. You a bitch.
What's your name? What's your name?
You fucking pussy.
All I need is your first name and you're done. I don't care. I'm an internet warrior. What's your name? What's your first name, bitch? What's your first name, bitch? Tell me your first name, pussy. I don't give a fuck if you're 10 years old. I will fuck you in the ass until you fucking bleed, bitch. I swear to God. Shut the fuck up, bitch.
I censored the kid's name because they said it. At least I think that was their name. I'm not sure. But regardless, I'll just play it safe. Anyway, you can see Neon blow a gasket there and have a conniption, so he goes into this, like, shit-talking mode against someone who's clearly trolling him. It's also clear that it is legitimately a toddler That kid is probably not older than 10. I think Neon hit the nail on the head. That is probably an actual 10-year-old he is saying those things to. And he caught a ban, and everyone's like, it's the end of Neon. Neon's been wiped off the platform. Thank goodness. The scourge, it's gone. And even other Kick streamers who don't like him, which is like every streamer in the world because no one really likes Neon, they were like, oh, thank goodness, he was such a bad look for the platform. And there were a handful of disgruntled Neon enthusiasts, because believe it or not, he does have some legitimate fans and supporters, and they asked for their parents' permission to use the crayons so they could write a letter to Kick to unban their favorite goober. But for some reason, people still haven't recognized that, just like Diamonds, Kick streamers are forever on that platform. He wasn't permanently banned, and I don't know why people thought he was. So he just got unbanned 15 minutes ago, as of making this video. As I said he would on stream, when people were just spamming me about like, wow, did you see Neon got banned? And as I said then, I said it's either going to be a 24-hour or 72-hour ban, and guess what? It was a 72-hour ban, just like everything else on that platform. So he's already back. It wasn't even 72 hours, really. This amounts to less than a slap on the wrist. This was like the lightest little pat on the keister here. I like to provide one little comical bonus nugget here, a little tidbit of lore. Neon is so incredibly annoying that even the CEO of Kick couldn't hide his dislike for this annoying douchebag.
Holy fuck, can someone ban the word neon? We don't give a fuck about neon right now. Listen, big shout out to all people who give, like, talk or, you know, do streaming on Kick, but, like, come on.
You can find the full clip floating around there where he gives more context about the Neon situation and how he's, like, not part of the ban team or anything like that. But it doesn't matter, because very clearly he gets so annoyed by the pestering buzzing from Neon and his fans that he just snaps from it. He's like, holy fuck, can we just ban this word from the chat at this point? And that just gave me a hearty belly laugh. Not even the CEO of the platform vibes with this guy or his community. He is so unbelievably unlikable that everyone in all corners, even on Kick, celebrated when he was gone for those 2 or 3 days. So yeah, he's back though. Again, no one stays banned on Kick. Very, very, very fucking rarely does that happen. So I just wanted to talk about this because Kick bans aren't real. They're just very slight suspensions, and I really wish we'd do away with the word ban when it comes to this. Just call it what it is. A little suspension. That's it. Nothing more. So yeah, that's really about it. See ya.